Types of stool tests for adults and kids. Rotavirus test. Rotavirus affects the intestines and causes vomiting and diarrhea. It's especially common in young children, but it can affect adults too. A rotavirus infection causes a condition called viral gastroenteritis. Yersinia test. This illness is most common in children and it tends to strike more often during the winter. Eating or handling undercooked pork raises the risk because pigs often carry this type of bacteria. Giardia Antigen test. Also called a stool antigen test, this test looks for the parasite Giardia intestinalis, which causes an infection of the small bowel called Giardiasis or traveler's diarrhea. Salmonella culture test looks for Salmonella bacteria in stool. Salmonella infection takes many forms, but the most common in the US is gastroenteritis, also called a stomach bug. You can get it if you eat food contaminated by animal feces. White blood cell test looks for white blood cells in stool. This test can help your child's doctor determine if there's inflammation in the intestine that might require treatment or further testing. Calprotectin test. Calprotectin is a protein, and when detected in the stool, it has a direct relationship to bowel mucosal damage, referring to inflammatory bowel disease. This test is also used to differentiate between IBD and IBS. Fecal occult blood tests are used to test healthy people for blood that may come from polyps or bowel cancer. The test can detect tiny amounts of blood not visible to the naked eye. Anyone who has blood in the feces would then go to have more testing to see what is the cause. Trypsin Chymotrypsin test checks stool samples for enzymes made by the pancreas. It measures how well the pancreas is working in patients with cystic fibrosis. Based on the results from this test, the doctor may prescribe replacement pancreatic enzymes. Clostridium difficile toxin test, also referred as C-diff and C-difficile. This test looks for toxins produced by Clostridium difficile bacteria. Ova and parasites test, also referred to as stool sample examination or stool O&P and fecal smear. This test looks for parasites and their larvae or eggs in a sample of stool. Fecal fat test, or fat in stool, fecal fat stain, or quantitative stool fat. This test measures the amount of fat in stool. If a patient has too much fat in your stool, it may be a sign that food is moving through their digestive system without being broken down and absorbed properly, called malabsorption. Campylobacter culture test. This test looks for harmful Campylobacter in a culture sample. It is the leading cause of foodborne illnesses in the US. And then there's comprehensive digestive stool analysis that investigates digestion, metabolism, absorption and metabolic markers, pancreatic function, the balance of beneficial bacteria and the presence of pathological bacteria, yeast and parasites. Whether you need to eradicate parasites or get rid of other harmful bacteria and support your gut at the same time, check out our unique formulas CanXida Remove and Restore.